Hamas's leader Ismail Haniyeh has been assassinated in Iran's Tehran. Iran Now News confirmed the death, saying that Hamas chief Haniyeh's residence was hit by an airborne projectile. In a statement, Hamas mourned the death of Haniyeh, who it said was killed in a, quote, treacherous Zionist raid on his residence in Tehran. The Revolutionary Guards confirmed that the residence of Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran was struck in the morning, resulting in his and one of his bodyguards' death. The cause is under investigation and will be announced soon. Defense Minister of Israel, Yoav Gallant, said on Wednesday that Israel is not seeking to escalate the war, but is preparing to handle all scenarios, while praising forces who carried out an attack on a Hezbollah commander in Beirut overnight.
The performance at night in Beirut was focused, high quality and contained. We don't want war, but we are preparing for all possibilities, and that means you must be prepared as needed. And we will do our job at all the levels. Above you, thank you and much appreciated.
And our correspondent Sarah Coates joins us live from Tel Aviv now. So Sarah, have Israeli authorities responded to Haniyeh's assassination, since Hamas have directly blamed them for it?
Hello there, Tanvi. Very little from the Israelis. The ministers have reportedly been instructed by the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, to keep quiet. Now, we have heard from the Defence Minister, Yoav Gallant. He's come out to say that Israel doesn't want war, but is prepared for it. Now, we've also heard from the Foreign Minister, Israel Katz. He sent a letter to dozens of foreign ministers around the world. He said that Israel is not interested in an all-out war, but the only way to prevent it is the immediate implementation of UN Resolution 1701, which would push Hezbollah fighters further north back behind the Litani River. Now, we are expecting Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister, to hold a security briefing in the coming hours. But it certainly is a very tense time here on the ground, despite the IDF's Home Front Command issuing a statement to Israelis saying that right now its directorate hasn't changed at all, but it will update people if necessary.
Sarah Coates in Tel Aviv, thank you very much for those updates. So as our correspondent was saying, it's a very tense situation as regards the conflict is between Israel and Hamas stands at the moment. And to understand it better, we are now joined by Elijah J. Maniar. He's a veteran war zone journalist and political analyst with nearly 4 decades of experience covering the Middle East and North Africa. He joins us from Paris, France. Welcome, sir, to the program. What does Ismail Haniyeh's assassination mean for Hamas, and what does it mean for the conflict in Gaza?
Thank you for having me. For Hamas, it's a symbolic gesture because Ismail Haniyeh was the political leader and mainly running the negotiation with the Israelis, the Americans, the Qatari, and the Egyptians to try and reach an agreement to put an end to the war in Gaza. It is also a symbolic victory to Israel, but it is not going to change anything in the organigram of Hamas. That is certainly going to appoint a new leader after his burial on Friday. However, that shows the Israeli will to enlarge the war, despite the announcement of the Israeli defense minister that Israel is not interested in the war, because an objective in Beirut was attack, and a leader, the highest commander, military commander, was assassinated in the capital, in the suburb of Beirut. Haniyeh was assassinated in Tehran. An Iranian advisor was assassinated in Damascus. Yesterday evening, the Hashd Shabi in Iraq, Baghdad, were attacked. And a few days ago, Al-Hudaydah in Yemen was bombed by the Israelis. So we see messages going across all the members of the axis of the resistance and showing the intention of Benjamin Netanyahu to escalate, because all these hits will require a retaliation undoubtedly. The problem is when different members of the axis of the resistance will retaliate, what is going to be the position of Israel? Are they going to a retaliation to the retaliation? That means going gradually to an all-out war. But if the Israelis accept the hit coming from the axis of the resistance and everybody return to the rules of engagement prior the last 24 hours, then the war will continue as it is.
Does this assassination give a lifeline to Benjamin Netanyahu, who has been facing questions about his leadership back home?
If the axis of the resistance is going to retaliate without hitting civilians and without enlarging the war, then yes, it will give him domestic victory that he can capitalize on for some time. But if the axis of the resistance is going to enlarge the war and hit different objectives like in Haifa or Tel Aviv, then that will help to his fall rather than for him to stay in power, because then he is bringing more destruction to Israel, and this will be beneficial only for his position as a prime minister, but not for the interest of Israel. And so everything is playing in the next 48 hours, 72 hours to see what is going to be the reaction. Are the members of the axis of the resistance going to hit hard to impose deterrence? Then this is not going to be in favor of Netanyahu. But are they going to try and avoid an all-out war? Then he's going to hit back again, and this is where he's going to drag other people, including the Americans, if they want or not, because they can't stop from defending Israel even if they disagree with Netanyahu. And then slowly but surely, everybody will be dragged into a place where nobody, at the exception of Benjamin Netanyahu, wants.
Okay. Elijah J. Magnier, thank you very much for your analysis on the story. Now, world has reacted to the assassination of Hamas's political chief in Iran. Russia has condemned the killing of Hamas chief and called on all parties to refrain from steps that could tip the Middle East into a wider war. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan condemned the assassination of Hamas leader killing and said that it would not break the will of Palestinians. The Prime Minister of Qatar suggested on Wednesday that the killing of Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh could jeopardize efforts to secure a truce in Gaza. Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim also expressed his condolences in a phone call with senior official Bassem Naim and called this assassination attempt madness.